Alright, Bob, so this is going to be your warm-up program. Now, the first thing that we're going to have you start with is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So go out into a half kneeling position with one knee down, one knee up. Now, the side that's down, I'm going to ask you to squeeze the glute muscles on that side and then lunge forward over the opposite knee. What you'll feel as you do this is a bit of a pulling and stretching on that down hip. As you do this, what I want you to do is to look at your posture, make sure that you're staying upright the entire time, not leaning forward excessively. And here from the front view, you'll see that my knee is pointed forward rather than pointing out to the right or to the left. You want to keep that in mind as you're doing this exercise. Alright, so after your half kneeling hip flexor stretch, we're going to go into a standing calf stretch. And again, on this one, the side that's down, or the back side, is going to be the one that's being stretched. So in this case, we're going to be starting on the right side here. Notice that my knee is straight and that it's tough to see, but my foot is flat on the ground. You don't want your heel to lift up at all because that's going to take away some of how effective this stretch can be. Maintain your balance as you need to. So if you want to hang on to your golf bag, hold on towards the head of a driver with the shaft down towards the floor, that would help you as well. And again, from the front view here, you can see how my foot is turned out slightly, and that's okay. The straighter you have it, the more of a stretch that you'll feel in that calf. But this won't affect it too much. Again, maintain good posture through the entire time, keeping your trunk upright and straight. Alright, so now we're going to do a split squat. And I'm only using a putter here just so this way it's a little bit easier for you to see what's going on. So there's no big golf bag in the way. But with the split squat, you're going to start in a split stance. So similar to that calf stretch that we just did, you're going to lower the back knee down so it's very close to the ground, but it doesn't exactly have to touch. And as you're coming up, I want all of the force to be placed through the front foot. If you start pushing off the back foot, that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're not going to be targeting the quad muscles as much as we'd be looking for. So here again, you can see that I've switched sides. A little bit of an angle shows the position of my back foot. Alright, so we're going to put the putter or the golf bag out away from us and go into a sideline position. And here we're going to perform your open book rotations or your trunk rotation. Now this is a little bit different than the exercise that we have you performing as part of your routine. Rather than performing this as a stretch and holding each repetition for a couple seconds, once you get to the end of the range of motion, come right on back to the starting position. Each time you do this, you should feel like you're able to get a bit further back rather than to that same point. Maybe 10 repetitions on this, and then after that, switch sides to perform the same thing, just rotating in the opposite direction. What may be helpful for you to do, just like the exercise that we talked about, is to hold the top knee down. This way it can't lift up. In a couple of those repetitions, my knee lifts a bit more than it should. Okay, from here we're going to go into a glute bridge. So lay on your back, bend the knees back as far as you can comfortably, and press through the hips to lift your backside up off of the floor. With each repetition, I want you to squeeze the glute muscles as tight as you can and hold that even as you're lowering down. Relax once you get to the bottom and begin the squeeze as you start the way up. Okay, now after this is the last exercise. And again, I would use a golf bag rather than a putter to hang on to. Doing this with one foot on the ground with a sock on hardwood isn't the easiest, so I have a little bit of difficulty with this. But what you're going to do is you're going to rotate the hip around the stance foot. Again, a little bit of difficulty there. But if you look at the spreadsheet that I gave you, there is another video on how to do this one, and the form is a bit better. So here the modification that I made is to place the foot that was in the air before down. So this way I have a little bit more stability. I'm still able to rotate over my down leg, so my right leg, as much as possible. Perform 10 repetitions to the right on this and 10 repetitions to the left before you go hit some balls. So that's your program. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions.